as he took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. He will forfeit 20% of his purse. Artem Lobov says, I respect him, I'll give him back his 20%. And Michael Johnson with a huge 8.5-inch reach advantage. Inside the octagon for the official introductions, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. This fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, 14 wins, 14 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 145.5 pounds. Fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, by way of Nizhny Novgorod, Russia, Artem the Russian Hammer Lobov. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 19 wins, 13 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 147 pounds. Fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, by way of St. Louis, Missouri, USA, Michael the Madness Johnson. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Jaron Valello.
Jaron Valello set to call the action for our co-main event. Chrissy Blair on hand with us. Michael Johnson, a -650 favorite as he took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. Artem Lobov plus 425 as an underdog. And we are underway. Lobov is in the green, Johnson is in the black.
Lobov immediately circling away from the straight left of Michael Johnson. That's a smart thing to do. Maybe you can draw that attack and try and counter it with those tight, powerful hooks that we know Artem is so good at.
Lobov, longtime training partner of Conor McGregor's. Fights out of the SBG Ireland gym. John Kavanagh is in his corner tonight. Of course, involved in what happened in Brooklyn in April. He was scheduled to fight Alex Caceres. That fight did not happen. And then at UFC 229, Zuvara Tokugov still under investigation. So that's why the late change in opponent, Michael Johnson, on 2 weeks' notice, steps up for an opportunity.
Michael Johnson told us about the decisions he's made in fights. Fights won against tough guys, and I find that my pacing isn't right, or I make a poor decision at the wrong time. He talked about the mental side of fighting. We know about his physical talent, his speed, his accuracy, very dangerous early in the fight. He says, but I've made poor decisions late, and it's cost me. Especially look at the competition he's faced. You can't make a mistake against Nate Diaz and Khabib, and these guys, they'll make you pay every single time.
They will, and ultimately it's been the fights where he struggled has been fights where he started off fairly well, and then he's allowed people to just kind of slowly walk him down like this. I mean, obviously when people are able to get their hands on him like Khabib did, there's not a great deal you can do about that. But I think back to the Nate Diaz fight, and Nate Diaz kind of punking him towards the end of the fight, slapping him and pointing at him and calling him names and stuff, kind of got inside Johnson's head a little bit. And you feel like if anybody can put that kind of pressure on him, it's going to be Artem Lobov, who doesn't really care about taking punches to get himself in range.
And he has a very unorthodox style, really hard to time a guy like that.
And a lot of people look at his record and underestimate him. 14-14 is his record, but as he said to us, people don't look at the people that he's fought. They don't add up the records of the fighters that he's faced, because I'm going to quote an old friend of mine, Paul Jenkins, records are for DJs. You know what I mean? This is about your last performance. And Artem Lobov is all about giving the fans the right performance.
And Lobov earlier this week saying the UFC gave him a few choices of who to fight, and he picked Michael Johnson, said, I wanted the toughest matchup, so I picked the menace.
And the thing is with that kind of approach to fights as well is, Artem Lobov knows that if he lands a big shot on Michael Johnson, he stands to gain so much more, which, in my opinion, is part of the reason why Artem likes these kind of fights. He likes to be up against the wall. He likes to be a huge underdog. So when he does get the upset, it's even more impactful, and people talk about it even more.
For Michael Johnson, an exciting fighter as well. He's walked home with an extra $50,000 for a bonus in 3 of his last 5 fights. Performance of the night of Dustin Poirier. Came back in 2016. Fight of the night against Nate Diaz, Justin Gaethje. And of course, Gaethje, that fight was consensus fight of the year. As Johnson connects with the left-hand cross. Under 2 minutes to go, first round.
That's what he's great with, is a left-hand shot. He's been landing it well, but Artem Lobov just not intimidating, even dropping his hands, but always moving forward. Hard to get him to back off.
That was a nice counter to the body kick from Michael Johnson. He took a couple. There it is again.
Lobov certainly with a lot to prove here. He's intense no matter what, but this week, just say, hey, Artem, how's it going? And have at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, intense, opinionated. Describes him well.
Under a minute to go now in the first round.
And also there's the added thing of Lobov knows, look, this guy had a late notice fight. If I walk him down, make him work the whole time, never let him fight at his pace, never let him get a breath, maybe I can wear him down. He doesn't have the gas tank I do. There's that confidence as well.
Oh, Johnson, quick combination, and the left one landed to the chin.
It's so fast is Michael Johnson when he has the confidence to throw combinations. I mean, he's got a very pronounced jab, which I feel is why Artem's starting to read that and get his head off the center line. But the straight left is very, very quick.
Johnson looking to stick the jab, use that 8.5-inch reach advantage he has. Lobov, meanwhile.
Nice.
Creative entry there.
Weird kind of fake shot over to some short punches. Very Lobov thing to do.
Body kick's working really well.
Body kick to close the first round. Second round is coming up.
Nice.
That's it, warmed up. That left outside kick's very nice. When you skip in, he's dipping his head. You caught him with a nice right uppercut there. That's it, nice deep right. Just keep that pace up. It's only when you're letting him go first, he landed a couple of straight lefts. You've seen that straight left for 10 years. So let's slip on the outside and come back.
Okay, he plays. Yeah. When he goes right, that means he's there. Use it, follow with your hands. Right kick to left kick to the body. Left kick to the right. Sharp. Stay busy, stay alert for me. Here we go. Do you, huh? 10 minutes.
Later tonight, don't miss a complete recap of all the action in Moncton on our post-fight show immediately following the main event on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Back underway for the second of 3 possible rounds at featherweight.
It was an interesting line from the corner of Artem Lobov. John Kavanagh said, that left hand, you've seen that for 10 years.
Yeah. If you didn't bring it up, I was gonna.
Yeah, right.
He's talking about training with Conor McGregor. Big swing with a right uppercut from Lobov. Johnson was out of the way. Total strikes unofficially pretty close. Johnson steps in. He's moving to his left.
Artem Lobov always stepping in, always trying to make the octagon small. Johnson do a good job, though, always angling off. Right when Lobov comes in, he cuts the angle and moves. And you never know which side. He doesn't circle in one direction, he circles in both directions.
And this is a part of the game plan for Artem Lobov, is to force Michael Johnson to be reactive. At the moment, he's being forced to work because Artem Lobov is pressuring him. It's only when Lobov kind of takes his foot off the gas a little bit that Michael Johnson starts to set him up for that straight left. This is better work from Johnson. But again, look, reactive to the pressure. It's going to be quite exhausting.
And you never know exactly where Lobov's punches are coming from. He carries his hands so low. Sometimes he brings them high, but he's always throwing at funky angles. So you're always kind of tense. You're always waiting to see which side the strike is coming from.
Johnson again in with the body shot. Nice left jab there from Lobov.
Nice straight left to the body from Michael Johnson. as long as he can maintain some distance between the fighters, Michael Johnson can pick Artem Lobov as he walks in. Nice left hand again. Seems to be pulling the power out of those a little bit. I wonder if he's expected to miss some of these shots where he's not fully committing to them.
Maybe trying to save energy, you know, 2 weeks notice, don't have a full gas tank.
That's a good point.
Don't want to hit with power punches every time.
You can be good all day, Michael Johnson. 2.5, and follow up.
Artem is just constantly on the front foot though.
See, Johnson has given a steady diet of body strikes. And Lobov wobbled for the moment,
I was pretending to wobble.
Wags the finger.
Buddy, it didn't hurt me at all. I really tell somebody it didn't hurt when you wobble and almost fall down.
Nice.
That's why he's a fan favorite.
Great sell job.
Johnson continues to circle on the outside. Lobov can't connect.
Nice left hands again. Really nice. Good body kick. Artem was having, oh, that was nice. That was a nice lead left hook.
Connects on the right that time, does Lobov.
And it's these strange kind of clubbing punches he throws. You don't see angles like that generally in sparring against anybody else. These punches from the hip, very funky angles.
Yeah. Often punches across his lead leg like we just saw there. He leans his whole body weight over his lead leg so he can power that right hook across the chin.
Nice counter from Lobov.
And it's the perfect technique to use as well if you're trying to slip to the outside of the straight left. So as Michael Johnson throws the straight left, Artem's slipping to his right, over his right foot, and then he's coming back with the right hand. There it is again, look. Really nice work. Now he's starting to affect Michael Johnson's eye.
And he's starting to walk him down a little bit too. Moving as much as Michael Johnson's been moving throughout this fight, very, very fatiguing. He's been on his bike the whole time.
You can only withstand this kind of pressure for so long. You can only throw to hold somebody off for so long, and if your shots aren't having any effect on your opponent, eventually they're going to start getting through. And because Artem's so confident and he throws with so much intention, punches land even when he's getting hit himself. Look at this. I mean, he's just hands down walking forward, happy to take one on the chin to land. Never ever discouraged. That is a strength we cannot underestimate in the octagon. Look at this.
Is he here letting the fist fly? Final seconds of the second round as the damage is starting to show below the left eye of Johnson. We'll go to the third round after this.
Here you go, Artem, sit down. Great round.
1-1. 1-1.
Relax, water. Well done, great round. Slow yourself down. You know this feeling. You know recovery's coming. Alright, so relax. Just 5 minutes left. It's a great.
It's just follow up. Yeah. Every time you follow up, one-on-one, it will land. Guaranteed. All right? 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. This is yours, huh?
Your tempo, no pace.
So as Artem Lobov's pressuring forward, you can see Michael Johnson really searching for that left hand. He's throwing it straight, he's throwing it over the top. But ultimately, the pressure of Artem Lobov is starting to close that distance down. He needs to land with power to really start to maintain that space for this third round to land that knockout shot.
Set for the third and final round. A show of respect before back to business in our co-main event. Big second round there for Lobov. Johnson had his moments as well, but Lobov seemed to start putting it together. Johnson moving forward to start the third.
Both of these guys, their conditioning is holding up really well. That was a question coming into this fight with Michael Johnson, given the fact that he was taking it on short notice. Having some fun. Oh, that was a nice straight left again.
You know, Michael Johnson, his third round, content a little bit more to hold his ground. He's not backing up like he was in the first couple of rounds. He knows it's a close fight. He wants to finish strong, I think.
Nice feint with the kick there. I'd like to see him throw more kicks, especially because Artem tends to dip his head to get out the way of punches. Maybe start with a two-punch combination, finish with a high kick. There it is again, look. Beautiful work from Artem, though, using fake. Ow, that hurt. I felt that one in my own shin bone.
Low chop there from Johnson as they continue to stand in the center.
Yeah, he's the one busy with his punches. Artem Lobov looks like he's taking a little break. Johnson definitely getting his confidence back. Still throwing the straight left. Still moving on his feet. Hasn't really slowed down in his third round.
Oh, that was nice.
Coming in, beautiful.
So accurate with the left hand, especially when he throws it straight. It tends to be the hooking punches that Artem wears so well, at least catches him on the guard. But the straight left has turned his head away a few times.
Lobov dips and lands the uppercut with the right hand. Johnson able to put some damage below the left eye of Lobov.
And it seems like the decision Johnson has made tactically in this fight is, I'd rather be fast and accurate with the left than really turn it over and try to damage and get him out of there.
Yeah.
Because he's been throwing it very, very accurately, but Lobov's been wearing it well. I think that's a conscious decision.
Nice.
I'd rather land it and still have him in front of me.
A 1-2 from Johnson, who now waves Lobov forward.
And that, I feel, has allowed him to maintain his speed throughout the fight as well, which has really been a key in a lot of these exchanges.
And perhaps Johnson was refilling the tank in the second round because he has led the dance here in the third.
Beautiful work in and out now from Michael Johnson. This is a good way of alleviating the pressure, is to constantly change that range. Oh, just clipped the chin of Artem Lobov there. Lobov struggling to put together any kind of offensive of his own with these constant angle changes from Michael Johnson.
And a big part of having gas in an MMA fight is believing you have gas. And I think maybe the start of this third round, he went, hey, I feel pretty good. I think maybe, and that confidence is showing now. Maybe at the end of the second, he was wondering if he had enough gas. He feels he can finish this fight and still have a lot of energy.
Yeah. Oh, he's cruising now. This is comfortable for him. As long as he doesn't get clipped with a big shot here, he can effectively do this for the next 90 seconds.
You see Johnson nearly a 3-1 margin of total strikes here in the final frame with 90 seconds to go. And he's not slowing down.
And remember, both of Lobov's UFC wins have been decisions. He's not known as a one-shot knockout guy. Johnson needs to keep moving, keep angling, keep going to left hand. Been effective so far.
And to be successful at the 145-pound division, Johnson said he did have to change up a lot as he buckles him with the right.
Once again, I just slipped.
Another chapter in the conversation.
You didn't see that. That's awesome.
That was a jab that put Artem Lobov under me as well. I mean, that's Michael Johnson using that forward momentum of Artem Lobov to exemplify the power in his shots.
Nobody points his chest like, yeah, that was me. Like that.
Nice takedown.
Showing his wrestling background.
That was good timing. That was a smart move for these last 30 seconds. See if Artem attacks off his back here.
Junior college wrestler was Michael Johnson in the St. Louis area. 3-sport athlete in high school. Football player as well.
Now that is efficiency. One commitment to the takedown in the entire fight. 30 seconds left. Trying to ice the round in the fight. That's smart.
Yeah, very smart. Artem looking for a Kimura here. I think it's a little too late though.
So the game plan put together beautifully by Michael Johnson in the third and final round. We go the distance at featherweight in our co-main event. Respect shown, as they have all fight long. The official decision is coming up next.
William Hill sponsors BT Sports coverage of UFC.
الله ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي
Cooker, 100 degrees boiling, hot, cold, and now also filtered drinking water. The tap that does it all. Cooker.
William Hill sponsors BT Sports coverage of UFC.
FS1 UFC Fight Night is sponsored by Cerveza Modelo, the official beer of UFC. The judges' scorecards are in. Let's find out who gets their hand raised. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Michael the Menace Johnson.
I'm here with your winner, Michael Johnson. So you took the fight on short notice, you had to cut a bunch of weight, and then you take on someone as tough as Artem Lobov. It's been a pretty long week for you, right?
Yeah, it's been a crazy long week, man. I had like 30 pounds to cut in a week. I got as close as I could, but we did it. Hold on, yeah, I secured the bag, and I'm coming home with it. Don't worry about it, guys.
So tell me what it was like to be facing someone like Artem Lobov, who just walks forward with his hands down, wearing shots as well as he does.
It's tough. You know, that's one of my first guys I've ever fought to do that. So my hat's off to him. But, hey, he trains day in, day out with one of the best lightweight featherweights in the world, you know. So he wasn't expecting anything different when he came in and faced me. But my hat's off to him. He's very tough. I'm glad he accepted the fight. And I'm glad we put on a hell of a show for the fans.
You certainly did. So now you get to go home, rest up a bit, get a full training camp in. And now you're at featherweight. You've got to start thinking about making moves to that top 10, top 15. Who do you want next?
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to Menace City, everybody. So come on and come join. But hey, I'm not trying to have a long training camp. I'm trying to get back in here in December. So I'm open for reservations. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, get a hold of my manager, Dave Martin, get a hold of Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, and let's get this fight in December. I'm trying to go to Australia, baby, so I know somebody wants to fight me there.
Oh, we'll get you on that card. I'd like to call that fight. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Michael the Menace Johnson.
Looking for some frequent flyer miles this time. Michael Johnson, if he gets to Australia. Our move of the fight is sponsored by Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile.
Oh, no surprise here was the left hand of Michael Johnson throughout this fight, keeping it in boxing range. Great angling, great side-to-side movement, and the gas tank we were worried about showed no problems for 15 minutes. Great energy, great accuracy, and that takedown right at the end